been 50 years of Pakistan's biggest defeat and utter humiliation. 50 years ago, on the same day, that's December 16, 1971, India sliced Pakistan into two. A new nation came into existence, the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Then head of the Pakistan Army, General Khan Niazi, along with his 93,000 soldiers, surrendered unconditionally to the braves of the Indian Army. Today, Bangladesh and India celebrate 50 years of glorious victory. Prime Minister Modi will be leading the tributes at the National War Memorial in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi will also be participating in the reception ceremony of the Swarnim Vijay Mashal at around 10:30 this morning. Last year, Prime Minister lit 4 flames as part of the Swarnim Vijay Varsh. Since then, these 4 flames have traversed across the length and breadth of the country. The flames were taken to key battle areas and also to the houses of Gallantry Award winners and veterans of the 1971 war. Today, these flames will be merged by the Prime Minister with the eternal flame at the National War Memorial. And on the 50th anniversary of the India-Pakistan 1971 war, both the BJP and Congress are attempting to reach out to Jawans and their families. While BJP, led by Prime Minister Modi, will pay homage to Jawans at the National War Memorial in Delhi, the Congress, led by Rahul Gandhi, will honour soldiers with a big rally in Dehradun. In the rally, a large number of 1971 war veterans will be present. Rahul Gandhi will felicitate ex-servicemen on the occasion for their contribution to the nation. His address is expected to start at around 11 this morning. Now, ahead of Vijay Diwas, Congress President Sonia Gandhi recalled Indira Gandhi's contribution for her boldness and resilience during the 1971 war. So we'll be getting you all the live tributes that pour in on this day on 50 years of the 1971 war victory. Let's move on to some other stories also they were tracking this morning. What's happening in Parliament? Well, the opposition has cornered the centre over the Lakhimpur violence probe. A day after the SIT revealed that there was indeed a conspiracy to kill farmers, and this was on the 3rd of October. Remember, farmers were mowed down by a convoy of cars. Union Minister Ajay Mishra Teni's son Ashish Mishra is one of the accused in the case. The minister had a complete meltdown on camera, blaming the media for his son being jailed.
Ajay Mishra Teni, the Minister of State for Home Affairs, is feeling the heat. A day after special investigation team accused Ajay Mishra's son Ashish Mishra of planning the killing of farmers, the minister vented his anger on the journalists. Ajay Mishra is under fire from all sides. The opposition is breathing fire in the parliament, demanding his resignation.
Thank you, sir.
And now his own party has called him to Delhi for a review. It all started with a court permitting the SIT to add several new charges, including the Arms Act violations and attempt to murder. Congress Member of Parliament Rahul Gandhi moved an adjournment motion in the Lok Sabha seeking Teni's ouster on Wednesday. A similar motion was moved in the Rajya Sabha as well. Several opposition leaders carried placards and banners as they staged protests forcing the adjournment of the House.
It has been said that it is a conspiracy. It is obviously a conspiracy. Everybody knows who's involved. Everybody who knows whose son is involved. Everybody knows who was there when those farmers were killed. The gentleman is a minister. We want the minister to resign. We want a discussion in the parliament. The Prime Minister refuses. And they're making all sorts of excuses because they don't want to accept the truth.
मैं समझता हूँ सुप्रीम कोर्ट के निर्देश के अनुसार जब जांच चल रही है तो इस प्रकार की बातें बेबुनियाद हैं. Well, first of all, we are extremely disappointed at the behavior of the opposition who are not allowing the houses to function in an orderly fashion.
The opposition, meanwhile, is unfazed in its attack. It has put the onus on Prime Minister Narendra Modi to sack the minister.
अगर मोदी जी की अंतर में जरा सा गंगा माता की प्रति श्रद्धा रहे तो बिना किसी देर उनकी गृह राज्य मंत्री को वो सलाह दे कि वो खुद अपने को रिजर्वेशन दे, और नहीं तो प्रधानमंत्री जी खुद इसमें फैसला लेते हुए उनको बर्खास्त करें।
Summoned to Delhi, the spotlight is on Ajay Mishra Teni. He will have to answer more questions and face more cameras in the national capital. With the noose tightening on the minister's son and pressure mounting on the government, the opposition is unlikely to relent. And Thursday is set to be all stormy in the parliament as well. With video journalist Waqar Ahmed and Supriya Bharadwaj, this is Mosmi Singh in Delhi for India Today.
The farmers are marching back home after year-long agitation against the centre's 3 farm laws. The agitation has been suspended. Political action, however, will continue. Rahul Srivastava gets you more details in this ground report.
At Delhi's Ghazipur border, a victorious army packing up from the war front to head home to the barracks. This Ford tractor was the first among hundreds to reach Ghazipur border last year. Now it's set to take a trolley load of farmers back to the city. A young volunteer notes down the details of the tractor and occupants signing out of the protests. Suddenly, a commotion announces the arrival of BKU leader Rakesh Tiket. In his customary unhurried tone, he warns the driver.
तेज नहीं चलाओगे, शांति से जाओगे और आंदोलन की कोई ना कोई चीज लेकर जरूर जाओ, जो वहाँ पे याद रहेगी वो लेकर जरूर जाओ, चाहे बांस ले जाओ, लाठी ले जाओ, कुछ ना कुछ झंडा लेकर जाओ तो वो म्यूजियम में रहेगा कि आंदोलन की चीज है, तो कोई ना कोई यहाँ की आंदोलन की चीज घरों पर जानी चाहिए.
Driver Prem Singh turns the ignition. The veteran tractor engine starts with a grunt and shudder. The tractor pulls out. The departing protesters wave to those who will leave later. Cruising on the swanky Meerut Expressway, protesters recall what the protest cost them and how they stayed in touch with families.
बच्चों की याद भी आती है. बात करते थे कि फोन पे, वीडियो कॉलिंग पे भी बात होती थी, फोन पे भी बात होती रहती है. क्या बोलती थी कि कब आ रहे हो? हाँ, मैंने बस अब आने वाले हैं. आज जो है आ ही रहे हैं घर.
किसानों को कम से कम 35-40 हज़ार से ऊपर नुकसान है किसान को आने जाने में है, खर्चे के हिसाब से. हाँ, एक किसान के हिसाब से.
कैसे काम चलाया होगा किसान ने? कहाँ से लाया होगा पैसा?
अपना फसल से कर अपना खर्च, दूसरा खर्च कम कर रहा है. थोड़ा अपना दूध बेचता है, वैसे किसान ने अपना खर्च कम करा है.
The retreating farmers en route get off for a quick dip in River Ganga. At the outskirts of Bijnor district in Chandpur, a hero's welcome greets those arriving.
After an almost 1 year-long siege of Delhi, the farm union leaders returned to their homes to a rousing welcome. Music on the streets, young boys dancing. But the end of the protest is in fact the beginning. In Uttar Pradesh, the political turf is ready. The protest and the climb down by the government will irrigate the election campaign for the make or break election in Uttar Pradesh.
The speeches by leaders indicate that the protests will now play in the electoral arena.
राजनीतिक खेल में और किसान के खेल में बड़ा अंतर है, क्योंकि राजनीतिक मुद्दे जो हैं वे झूठ बोलने के होते हैं और किसान क्या है
सच्चा दिल है उसका, तो किसान मान लेता है कि सरकार जो है ये बनेगी तो ये हमें ये देगी। हर बार ठग ले रहता किसान।
Once the convoy reaches the destination, drums start beating, crackers are buzzed. Victory of protesting farmers is now diverted to build a case against the BJP in parts of western UP, a region where it swept the last 3 polls. In a late evening baitak or sit-out, the BKU leadership subtly asked farmers to change their voting preference, and the subtle message sinks quickly.
किसान को कभी भी अगर किसी सरकार ने दबाया है तो उसे बोलने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से किसान को दबा करके और एक पूंजीपतियों का राज करना चाहती थी सरकार, उसमें असफल नहीं है।
अब उसके चक्कर में ना पड़ने के भाजपा के जो अच्छे काम वो बनाएगा उसके चक्कर में पड़ेंगे।
अब तो गठबंधन हुआ है रालोद का और सपा का,
चलो देखा जाएगा, वो तो टाइम पे
अभी तय नहीं किया।
अभी तय नहीं किया।
The signal is that the BKU plans to keep the farm angle alive. So organizing rousing welcome for each batch of Ghazipur protesters and demand for statute-backed MSP will remain in vogue. In Bijnor with Ritesh, Rahul Srivastav for India Today.
After a dinner party, more and more Bollywood celebrities are testing positive now for COVID. In the latest update, actor Sanjay Kapoor and fashion designer Mahib Kapoor's daughter Shanaya Kapoor took to Instagram to share the news that she tested positive for COVID. Shanaya wrote that she's isolated herself after she exhibited mild symptoms. The actor got tested twice in a span of 4 days. COVID cases in the industry are increasing after celebrities attended a party that was hosted by filmmaker Karan Johar at his residence on December 8th. Apart from Kareena Kapoor, Amrita Arora, Seema Khan and Mahib Kapoor have also tested positive for COVID. All of them had attended that get-together. The party was also attended by the likes of Alia Bhatt and Malaika Arora. These 2 actors have tested negative. Let's move on to the latest updates on the Omicron variant. The United Kingdom is reeling through its worst bout of COVID since the start of the pandemic. The surge has been blamed on Omicron, the super mutant variant, while the government has introduced stringent curbs. It's also faced flack over its handling of COVID.
$78,610 COVID infections in a day, the highest ever the UK has seen. Omicron, the super mutant coronavirus variant, seems to be driving a new wave in the island nation, calling it probably the most significant threat since the start of the pandemic. British Health Chief has warned of a staggering rise in cases over the next few days. The British government has responded by tightening curbs. Prime Minister Boris Johnson held a press meet urging citizens to get booster doses of COVID vaccines.
We had to accelerate the booster programme in view of the data about Omicron.
The British government is facing a lot of flack from opposition parties.
Nobody wants to see further restrictions.
The Labour Party has called Boris too weak to lead the UK through the health crisis.
He is a threat to public health because, we can argue all morning about what the rules should be, whether this measure is necessary or that measure is necessary. The critical question is, will the public follow the rules? And they have been following the rules, but now that trust is broken and many people are now saying, well, if the Prime Minister is going to allow breaking of the rules, parties, quizzes going on in Downing Street, when we're being asked not to see our loved ones, well, why should I follow the rules? And so, of course, there's the question of what the conditions should be, but there's also this basic question of trust. And that is broken with the Prime Minister. And that's why he is unfit for office.
Johnson has defended his handling of the COVID pandemic.
The government is taking a balanced and a proportionate approach to dealing with the pandemic, and the House voted through Plan B, I think, with Conservative votes, Mr. Speaker, and we will continue with the massive booster rollout, to which he is a late convert. Since Friday, when I decided that we had to accelerate the booster program in view of the data about Omicron, we've cut the timetable in half. Mr. Speaker, Monday was the biggest vaccination Monday in the history of this country, and yesterday was the second biggest vaccination achievement by the NHS ever. More than 500,000 jabs delivered, and the campaign continues.
The Omicron-led surge in the UK has raised the alarm in many European nations. The WHO has warned that the variant is spreading at an unprecedented speed and has the potential to overwhelm hospitals, a grim reminder of the last wave.
77 countries have now reported cases of Omicron, and the reality is that Omicron is probably in most countries, even if it hasn't been detected yet. Omicron is spreading at a rate we have not seen with any previous variant. We're concerned that people are dismissing Omicron as mild. Surely, we have learned by now that we underestimate this virus at our peril.
Amid Omicron, the demand for booster doses is rising all across the world. The WHO, which hasn't recommended administration of booster doses, says it could further result in vaccine inequality, which could lead to more outbreaks. Bureau Report, India Today.
In the press conference ahead of South Africa tour, Kohli said that there was no communication between him and the BCCI to continue as the T20 captain. On the other hand, you had BCCI chief Sourav Ganguly claiming that he had personally requested Kohli to continue as the T20 international captain. So what really was this communication gap about between the world's richest cricket board and one of India's best cricket players? Our report explores that.
Indian Test captain Virat Kohli has dropped a bombshell. In his press conference ahead of India's tour of South Africa, Kohli has directly debunked BCCI chief Sourav Ganguly's earlier claims. Kohli says there was no communication between him and the BCCI regarding whether they wanted him to continue as India's T20 captain. Kohli claims the BCCI never questioned his decision of leaving the T20 captaincy and accepted it without any fuss.
जब T20 कैप्टनसी को छोड़ने की मैंने पहले BCCI से कम्युनिकेट किया, सबसे पहले मैंने BCCI को अप्रोच किया कि मेरा ये पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, ये डिसीजन है और इन रीजंस की वजह से मैं ये करना चाहता हूं, तो उसको बहुत एक अच्छे तरीके से रिसीव किया गया. उसमें कोई ऑफेंस नहीं थी, उसमें कोई हेजिटेशन नहीं थी, उसमें मुझे ये नहीं कहा गया था कि आप T20 कैप्टनसी ना छोड़िए, बल्कि उसको बहुत अच्छे से रिसीव किया गया कि बहुत एक प्रोग्रेसिव स्टेप है और सही डायरेक्शन में है.
The Indian team captain's response comes less than a week after BCCI chief Sourav Ganguly claimed he personally requested Kohli to continue as T20 captain. Ganguly had earlier claimed that Kohli had decided to quit T20 captaincy because he was feeling the workload. In an interview with a news agency, Ganguly also said Virat Kohli was removed as the one-day captain because selectors only wanted one white ball captain. Kohli was also honest about how the whole one-day captaincy saga transpired. While mentioning Rohit Sharma as an able captain, Kohli claimed he was sacked as the one-day skipper less than an hour before the announcement was made official, indicating that he was shoddily treated by the board.
Whatever was said about the communication that happened during the decision that was made was inaccurate. I was contacted 1.5 hours before the selection meeting on the 8th for the test series, and there was no prior communication with me at all since I announced the T20 captaincy decision. The chief selector discussed with me the test team, to which we both agreed. And before ending the call, I was told that the 5 selectors have decided that I will not be the ODI captain. And that's what happened. There was no communication prior to that at all.
Whether we'll see a clarification from the BCCI's president, Saurav Ganguly himself, we'll have to wait and watch. Hanging in the balance is the integrity and unity of Team India. Sports Bureau, India Today.
And you can catch all the details on that story and much more on our website, indiatoday.in. Do also download the India Today app. Time for us to slip into a short break here on First Up.